What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is season 5, episode 13, I believe, and the episode is titled Feeling the Heat. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. So, of course, we start off seeing Maurice and the prosecutor, and this prosecutor is adamant that Maurice needs to sign this paperwork because Sabrina already told on him. But Maurice is not falling for the okie doke. He knows Sabrina. He knows that Sabrina wouldn't try to, tell that he did something that he did not do. And he's going to go ahead and hold out on this. The whole thing with this conversation that I was confused about was the fact that the prosecutor was like, you haven't made any phone calls. We know when you make phone calls. Why haven't you made any phone calls? Technically, he has made phone calls, and that was to Calvin, but Calvin did not answer the phone. So I'm just confused. Are we rewriting history as if Maurice never attempted to reach out to Calvin? Because wasn't he getting calls from jail, or am I crazy, y'all? But let's go ahead and move along, because that scene, it was whatever. Now let's slide on over to Andy and Fatima. So basically we see the mid-conversation. Andy is happy that, Fatima finally let her know that she's engaged. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me? So Fatima's like, well, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to tell Karen. And of course, Andy's like, I wouldn't have told Karen. Do y'all really believe that Andy would not have told Karen that Fatima was engaged? Like, seriously, I don't know. I feel like Andy probably would have let it slip because she can't hold water unless it's about her own personal drama. Nonetheless, so Fatima ends up showing Andy a photo of the girl who was going to play Hayden. And Andy's like, you got to stop doing this. Like, you're kind of scary. Like, basically trying to tell Fatima she needs to start walking on the straight and narrow. And I'm just kind of like, I wish that Fatima wouldn't have told Andy this. Like, this just should have been her own little project that she knew about. Because, I don't know, I feel like it might get messy. But Fatima ends up trying to head out the door. And Andy is like, but wait, are you actually going to marry Zach? And I was kind of surprised by her even asking that question, especially considering at this point, we know that they are so in love with each other. So why would you even question it? But Fatima's actually honest, and she's like, you know what? I don't know, because I'm not really here for the whole Karen and possible child situation. Now, as we know, Andy already knows that this baby is supposed to be Zach's. And of course, in typical Tyler Perry fashion, every time she mentions the baby, you have Andy who's gasping for air. Then she's ever talking about, oh, it's the pollen. I'm like, all right, Tyler, I'm tired of you writing these weak scenarios for the characters to know information and not want to reveal it. I think there's a better way of writing that. So, again, Fatima is letting Andy know that she just doesn't know what she's going to do in this Zach situation because, of course, he has a possible baby on the way. And then he also has his other baby mother, Heather. And Heather is being represented by Hayden. And Hayden hates Zach. So this whole little circle of life that's happening, it's a lot for her. And it's definitely going to be a lot for her bank account if they get married because those child support checks do not seem like they're going to be small. Now, I will say that Fatima kind of took a little dig at Karen because before she headed out, Andy was like, oh, I'm going to leave too because me and the girls are going to meet up later. And I'm kind of like, Andy, why'd you even bring that up, especially if Fatima wasn't going to be invited? And then Fatima was like, oh, okay. Because y'all usually get together, either it's surrounding drama or a party, and considering Karen's pregnant, guess it's not a party. I said, well, she right, and it's definitely considering some drama. Now, y'all, let's head on over to the airport because, of course, we have Danny and Q. I hate Q on this show so bad, but we're really trying to force this, aren't we, Tyler? So, basically, Danny is off work, and Q is there so that he can walk her to her car. Oh, but not only does he want to walk her to her car, he also wants to hit her vape pen as well as take her to a bar so that they can get drinks. I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I hate it. I just hate it here. I thought that Danny would just be so taken aback from the situation that happened with Jonah that she would be trying to avoid men at all costs, to be honest. I thought that's where we were going with this. But no, he ends up wearing her down and she agrees that he can walk her to her car, he can hit the vape pen, and maybe, I guess, they could go out for drinks. I'm like, Danny, what are you doing? You got Preston at home. Please go back over there because I cannot take this foolishness with you and Q. Now let's go ahead and talk to Maurice and Calvin, you guys, because Calvin finally answers his phone, and of course it's a collect call from Maurice. And throughout this conversation, you have Maurice trying to fish and find out if Sabrina ratted on him and tried to pin the robbery on him. Of course, Calvin is like, she didn't do that. You know she didn't do that. And in his heart of hearts, Maurice knows that that's not something that Sabrina would do. However, he sort of sounds like he would break out of jail, or if worse come to worse, he would try to, throw Sabrina under the bus. But overall, I will say that, Maurice's character is like, I need you to get me out of here. And you have Calvin saying, yeah, we're going to get you out. And I'm like, well, if her bail was set that high, how much is Maurice's bail going to be? Because I would assume it would be the same amount of money that Sabrina's was. So who's paying that much money? Because last time I checked, Calvin, you only had $20,000. So how Maurice going to get out, y'all? Please let me know. Now let's go ahead and move along to a scene with Fatima and Zach. So, you know what I realized about Fatima and Zach, you guys? That I feel like Tyler has shot himself in the foot. And he didn't realize it. And here's why. I feel like he does not know what to do with Zach and Fatima's characters. Because he's had them move so much and so fast on Fatima that what's happening on Sistas, it's really not making any sense. I feel like it's crazy to me that literally Zach waited for her to come home. So he's guiding her into the house. Oh, what was the surprise? He made dinner for her. And he wants her to know that, he chooses her. He only wants to be with her. And he wants to marry her. As in, right now. He wants to go to the justice of the peace. And I'm just like, you're doing a lot. I understand that you're nervous about how much money you're going to have to pay for child support, but rushing into a marriage, it just doesn't make sense. It's bad enough that the relationship between Zach and Fatima has been sped up so much and so quickly. I know when we were originally just watching them on Sisters, the relationship was fast. But now that we have Zatima and that timeline, everything's sped up. So now it's like, what do you guys have to look forward to? Y'all should be happy in engagement bliss. Trying to figure out, where you going to take engagement photos or something. I don't understand why Zach is trying to rush for marriage so fast, so quickly. What is happening right now? Can we focus on him trying to buy some other properties or something? Or is Tyler saving that material for when he's working on Zatima? Because whatever happened to the one friend who was on Sisters, y'all? What was his name? Jake? Where's Jake at? I really do need for Zach to go spend some time with Jake and let them go hang out somewhere. This is getting out of control. So, of course, you have Fatima shutting him down no, we're not going to the justice of the peace. I do not want to get married right now. I have the dream of having a church wedding, and I want all my friends and family there. And on top of that, we also need you to have a conversation with Karen, because she wants to get this whole Karen thing settled right now. Now, here's the thing. I honestly feel like this scene dragged out too long, because then we have both of them going back and forth about him calling Karen in that moment. Fatima is adamant that he calls right now. I'm just like, Tyler, you could have cut this scene a couple of minutes in. You really could have. But you know what? Let's go ahead and move on. So we actually see Sabrina. Her hair is done. Karen has done a fantastic job getting her hair together. And of course, she loves it. So while Sabrina is standing in the mirror, you have Pam come from behind. She's like, oh yeah, your hair looks really good, but like, I still like your natural hair. Like, what made you change it? Like, where have you been? And of course, this is Pam just trying to make general conversation because she has no idea what Sabrina has been through. But Sabrina avoids that question, and then she goes on to try to pay Karen, and Karen's like, no, I don't need your money, like, just meet me at Andy's house, I'll see you later, or whatever. And Sabrina says her goodbyes. So of course the day is over. Karen is like, I'm gonna go home. Pam, make sure you lock everything up or whatever. But before she can head out, her phone ends up ringing, and it's Zach calling her. Now, of course, Pam wants to know what's going on, but Karen is not going to have that. So, of course, she tells Pam to shoo like a fly because she doesn't want her around for the conversation. Now, y'all, this is where Tyler got on my nerves because everybody decided to play telephone right now. So, you have Zach having a conversation with Karen. He's inviting her over to his house, and he wants to talk about the baby. You know, the conversation is going to consist of him, Fatima, and Karen. She says, okay, well, I'll come over there because I'm headed that way because I'm going to go to Andy's. Whatever. Cool. What does she do? She goes and then she talks to Andy because she's assuming that Andy told Fatima about this being Zach's baby. So Andy gets on the phone. Andy's like, oh, well, you know, I didn't tell her anything. I didn't tell Fatima about the baby or anything like that. And Karen's like, okay, well, that's strange. Whatever, I'm about to go over there. So then Andy takes it upon herself to say, oh, well, I'm going over there too. I'll meet you there. As if the girls were to get into an argument or anything, Andy would do the situation any justice. But nonetheless, they get off the phone. So what does Andy do? Then she calls Fatima. So that way she can tell her that she's coming too. So for her not to open up the door until Andy gets there. I'm like, you know what? Goodbye. All y'all in this situation. Goodbye. I just want something more from this season, honestly. Or should I just say these last couple of episodes? Like, what is happening right now? Is there anything else happening that we can, like, talk about or move on to? Like, I don't know. But this ain't it. Alright, y'all. Follow me on this real quick. Because we did see Danny and Q. They are having drinks. I'm just like, Danny, why did you agree to this? Now, I will say, am I the only one who thought that he drugged Danny because of the way she was acting? I was like, yo, is something not right here? Did he drug her? What's happening right now? He basically was trying to pull the okie doke on her, and he was trying to be like, oh, you know, can I come over to your house, whatever, because he needs a place to stay. He knows that he can't go back over there with Calvin, so now he's trying to finesse his way on over to Danny. And I'm just like, Q, please go away from all of us with this because we are so drained from your character. Alright, now let's hop on over to Hayden. So, of course, you have old girl who is putting the works on him. She is flirting super hard with him, and he is eating it up. He's falling for it. She tells him that, you know, they should go out for a drink or whatever and meet up at her place. And baby boy is on it. So, we will see if Fatima's plan is actually successful. Fingers crossed it is, because I am so tired of Hayden. Ugh, cannot stand his character either. But let's go ahead and talk about Danny and Preston. So Danny comes home, you know, she's just asking Preston what he's done all day. And of course he's like, oh, I've just been thinking about you. But here's the thing. the reason why he was thinking of Danny was because he's trying to get to the bottom of something. He said that he happened to talk to her landlord or neighbor, whichever one, and they told him that, is Danny okay? They were asking about her because they saw that she hit someone with her car. There was a bunch of commotion, and that they saw, somebody hit her. And he's like trying to be understanding and concerned, and he wants to know what's going on. But Danny is pushing him away. She's avoiding the conversation because she's like, oh, I want to go out with my girls, that's all I want to do right now. I don't want to have this conversation. But here's the thing. In this moment, I'm just like, what would have been really great, the way this scene should have ended, you guys, is if after she left talking to Preston, if she would have had like a breakdown in the bathroom, just like her crying to herself before she got ready to go be with the girls. Because I feel like Danny is not dealing with this at all. So at some point, there has to be a breaking point in this season. And I feel like she will most likely feel more vulnerable and have to open up to Preston about this. But there has to be a point where she breaks from this, where she gets emotional, she cries, she wants to fight. Like, there has to be some type of emotional something happen with her character, with this situation that happened with Jonah. Because her being so tight-lipped and holding it in, it's bothering me as a viewer. Like, it really is. And it's just so frustrating because we've been watching this show for 5 seasons now, you guys, and we hardly ever see, if ever actually, these ladies truly deal with their trauma. Like, we never get to see them go to therapy or just have an emotional outburst because it's too much to handle and it's a heavy weight to carry. You know what I'm saying? But let me just go ahead and move on. Alright, y'all, so we actually see Sabrina. She's getting ready to go over to the girls' house. To Andy's house. And Calvin stops by. He basically wants to let her know that, he finally heard from Maurice. He got the phone call. He tells her about how the prosecutor is trying to turn Maurice on her and make it seem like she's the one who created this whole plan. And she's like, Maurice, he wouldn't do that, right? He wouldn't try to, throw me under the bus or anything. So Calvin is like, nah, he wouldn't do that, but I would definitely suggest that you talk to Andy soon because, I don't know, at any given moment, Maurice might flip, you know what I'm saying, and change his mind just so that he can get out of jail. So that's where they're at with that situation. Baby, here comes a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Stop knocking. Don't come knocking at my door. Okay, let me stop playing. And it is actually Bio. If y'all know, I've been wondering, where is this man at anyways? Because where we left off, they went on a fire date. She loved it, and then baby girl got locked up. So I've been wondering, where is this man? Has he been looking for her? Has he been checking for her? What is going on? So he comes through or whatever. He's like, yo, I've been by here about 3 times. You haven't been answering your call. And of course she doesn't want to say, well, I was in jail. So she tells him, like, oh, I just needed some time. Baby, and then here comes Calvin. He has to let his presence be known. We already know him and Bio have had a fight before. And Bio was like, you know what, you got company. So Sabrina tells him that, she's going to give him a call later or whatever. And he ends up leaving. But I am glad that we did see him because I thought that was just going to be a forgotten storyline for Tyler. Y'all know how he do. So Calvin was going to head out, but he ended up deciding to stay at Sabrina's house and chit-chat with her while she gets dressed because, she didn't want there to be any drama with him and Bio because, of course, Calvin was like, oh, well, you could go back and call him, whatever. Try to make a little slick remark or whatever. But clearly, Sabrina just wants a little bit of peace in her life because her life has been in turmoil lately and she don't need all the dramatics, all right? Alright, y'all, so then we see this quick clip of Fatima. She gets a phone call from Tamara, and Tamara is just letting her know, like, girl, I got this in the bag. This man is going to be eating out the palm of my hands by the end of the week, okay? So then she ends up asking Fatima, like, what do you even want out of this? So Fatima's like, you know what, I just want him to be focused on you so that way he ain't focused on my situation. And the girl's like, you know what, I got it, don't even worry about it. I'm like, alright, great. Now, of course, we see Andy pulling up, and Karen is pulling up right at the same time that she is. Now, what I really want is for someone's car to get towed, because I am so sick and tired of us seeing scenes of people in front of Zach's house parking on the wrong side of the street. Like, I really want to be like, Tyler, what's happening in Atlanta? Because that's where this show is taking place. In Atlanta, do y'all just park any old kind of way? Park on any side of the road you feel like? Like, make it make sense, y'all. Nonetheless, the girls get out. They have a conversation or whatever about how it's so strange that they ended up inviting Karen to come over. And, you know, Andy is like super nervous. And she's like, you know, maybe you should leave your purse in the car. And we're going to assume that's because Karen is carrying a gun in the car. And she's like, no, I'm going to take my purse with me. I'm just like, at this point, can both y'all just go in the house? Y'all are stressing me out. So the ladies end up going in. And that was pretty much where we left off on the episode. Now, next week looks like it's going to be so much better than this episode. But let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Did y'all like it? Was it cool? Was it boring? Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.